So, I've been told that I don't do enough vlogging. Ooh, okay, fine. I hear ya. I'll do a little bit of vlogging. So yeah, here's my first actual vlog. Okay, it's not really my first vlog, but it's like, it's the first time I felt relaxed and I've got enough to actually talk about to be able to actually have a vlog. So there you go. Time for a vlog. Now, it's also a momentous day to be having a vlog, so I've decided to take myself away to a little cafe, have a little cafe latte, and no, I'm not a hipster. I've not been having a flat white today, and I've just had a little bit of kana, a little bit of food, and yeah, I guess I'm ready and refreshed. Time for my first vlog. So especially, I think today is a momentous day to be having a vlog, because as you all know, you might all know me from having done a lot of videos at the protests going on against LGBTQI inclusive relationship education in primary schools. I think that we need this education because we need to stamp out homophobia, transphobia and biphobia in primary schools, because it does start off in primary schools. I remember going to primary school and hearing the word gay like it was some kind of a negative. Like, whatever, like, so glad I'm not ashamed of being gay anymore. Hi, you're queer, and like, get used to it. So yeah, anyway. Unfortunately, the protests have gone and started up all over again. How silly. In Parkfield Academy in Birmingham. Not Birmingham, Alabama. Birmingham, England. Birmingham. Anyway, Sparkhill, Alum Rock, that kind of area. Full of Muslims, but also very deprived communities, unfortunately, socioeconomically disadvantaged. So we do need to have a little bit of we do need to approach this protesting with, a little bit of sensitivity, you know what I mean? And that's what I'm determined to do. I'm just sensitivity all over, defos. Anyway, but unequivocally, I don't think that it's acceptable for Muslim communities in Birmingham to be against this type of education simply because it's so important. So we do need to do something very unequivocal, very robust, very bold, and say, look, no, this education will happen because we need it. Come on. Now, the books and the education, fine, let's have a little bit of balance. Whilst there should be a No Outsiders, that's No Outsiders program founded by Andrew Moffat. Now that is the figurehead in Birmingham at Parkfield Academy that's receiving the brunt of abuse now because he's founded this program, and online abuse. I mean, I did a panel discussion with him on Sunday at UK Black Pride, and I'll talk about that in a minute. But I just wanted to quickly cover the LGBTQI inclusive relationship education protests. Now, at Parkfield, they've started up again this week, and it's really sad. It's because there's been a modified version of the No Outsiders program put back in, whereas there was a hiatus where it was not going to be taught for a little while, just so that there was some mediation between the community and the school. Now, the mediation is still ongoing, and the mediators, for example, Aslam, have condemned the protests that have re-erupted at Parkfield Academy. So you can see there's a little bit of a renegade squad doing a little bit of protesting against LGBTQI inclusive relationship education. So definitely not something that was authorized by the mediators. So I think that's very important to recognize. Now that we've dealt with all the serious stuff, time to go back to UK Black Pride. So on Sunday, as I mentioned, I did a panel discussion with Andrew Moffat, and along with Saima Rizk and Kakan Qureshi. They're all big figures in the counter protest against the protesters that are trying to ban inclusive relationship education. And Saima Rizk represents Seeds, that's supporting the education of equality and diversity in schools, and Kakan Qureshi has founded a charity, Finding a Voice, and that is to empower and give a voice to South Asians that identify as LGBTQI and haven't found a voice before. Now they have, with Kakan Qureshi's little charity. So yeah, also I have to mention Hidayah, LGBT+. I am heavily involved with them, but Saima Razik is also now involved with Hidayah. And they are a support group for LGBTQI identifying Muslims. People that do not want to dispense themselves with their faith, and why should they, just because they're LGBTQIA plus and happen to be Muslim as well, you know. Now, in addition to the great work that Hidayah do, it's in saying, like, you know, there is homophobia within Muslim communities, but that shouldn't mean that you have to become a non-Muslim. That shouldn't mean that at all. And that is really the message behind Hidayah, and I really, really respect that. Last week, I also decided to go to an event held at the Royal College of Physicians in central London at Regent's Park, hosted by the Council, Ex-Muslims Britain. So that's ex-Muslims, people that were Muslim, raised as Muslim, come from Muslim countries, Muslim backgrounds, and decided to dispense with the faith. Not purely just because of faith, for sexuality reasons or gender identity, but also because they can't reconcile the faith with their scientific understanding of the world, or they might be women that have lived under oppression and been forced to wear a veil, and they don't want to have to do that anymore, and they want to be able to drive if they're Saudi Arabian women, for example. So they've dispensed with the faith altogether. My personal take on it is that you can still be a Muslim and feel empowered as an LGBTQI person and a woman. You just have to cherry pick, like they all say. Cherry pick, what's so bad about that? I like cherries. Why can't I pick a few? Right? So yeah, whilst I now support ex-Muslims in what they want to do, because at the end of the day it's a free speech issue, isn't it, really? So I've decided to show my support to ex-Muslims. I took a big old photo with Jimmy Bangash, Jimmy London. He's Samb all over. And I had a really heart-rending moment with Ali Malik, where he told me all about his, the oppression he's faced in Pakistan. So I've decided that I am going to be very, very friendly towards ex-Muslims from now on. Even though in the past I felt that they invalidated my queer Muslim identity just as much as the Islamophobic racists that say I can't be gay and Muslim. So I decided, you know what, I'm just going to be me, I'm going to do me. Sorry, I'm having a coffee. Anyway, there's so much to cover. So also, it was Pride weekend here in London. It was Pride in London on Saturday. A huge march, the biggest ever, and the most inclusive ever. So it was led by L with a T, G with a T, Bi with a T, Pride with a T. And I was right at the front with L with the T. I know I'm not really a lesbian, but I could be. Anyway, the fact of the matter is that I support the inclusive trans message. I think it's highly important that as gay people, we stand in solidarity with transgender siblings of ours and say a big to TERFs. Ugh, don't like TERFs, don't like them at all. You know, trans, if you don't know what a TERF is, that's TERF, trans, exclusionary, radical feminists. I love feminists. I am very much an ally of women. But that does not mean you have to be trans misogynistic, right? Duh. Why oppress another group that are already experiencing massive amounts of violence to prove that you're more of a lesbian? You know, there's lesbian TERFs that say they would never date a transgender woman, never fuck a transgender woman. Fine, don't date a transgender woman. Don't fuck a transgender woman if you don't want to. No one is forcing you to. That does not mean that you can put transgender women down. You can basically ignore the violence that they experience. So yeah, like, get with the L with the T. So there you go. March with them. And Sadiq Khan right in front, right there. Fabulous. Yeah, I really enjoyed his presence there. Right in the front, showing that Muslims, showing these Islamophobic racists that being a Muslim is not synonymous with being a homophobe. Just look at Sadiq Khan, he's Muslim and he's not a homophobe. He was right there at the front with me, he's not even a transphobe, so there you go. Now, what else did I want to say? Oh, I saw Sam Smith. Yeah, that's right. BAFTA award-winning singer and whatever. I did ask him for a little word on trans solidarity, and he didn't even know what the fuck I was talking about. Sam Smith! Do you love it? Like trans solidarity? Got a word for trans solidarity? Huh? A word for trans solidarity?
Oh, amazing. What do you want me to say?
Oh, just a word about trans solidarity.
Oh my gosh.
Fabulous!
We're balls deep for the trans community.
We're balls deep for the trans community.
Fabulous! Thanks a lot. Well, interesting. But his friend said, "Oh, we're balls deep with the trans community." I was like, "Okay, cool, thank you, Sam Smith." Like he just repeated it. I think that I'm a bit disappointed in Sam Smith simply because he does identify as gender non-binary, makes a huge deal of it, and gender non-binary, of course, is on the trans spectrum. So I would have expected a little bit more of a snappy response from him, but you can check out a little video in a minute. I'm going to intercalate it in here. Now, as I was saying, Pride in London was the most inclusive yet in history, with trans people at the very front, but also QPOC right at the front, because we need to remember that it was trans women of colour, black trans women like Marsha P. Johnson and Sylvia Riviera that founded the gay rights movement. That's right, they were right at the front. They rebelled against police brutality in New York City on Christopher Street 50 years ago this year, and really they deserve our full respect and recognition and remembrance. So I think it's really important that we tackle racism within the LGBTQ community. It's a downright, it's a complete shame. It's a shame of the LGBTQ community that there's so much racism going on within our community. I've faced it, lots of people faced it, gay white men have never faced it. Don't even try and pretend like you have. Anyway, QPOC are now in so much visibility in Pride in London. I loved it. It was heartwarming, it was beautiful, it was lovely. And then of course the icing on the cake, UK Black Pride. Held for the first time in Hackney, Haggerston Park, Hackney on Sunday. Founded by Lady Phil of the Black Lesbians about 12 years ago, I think it was. And it's gone from strength to strength, and this year it was so big it needed its own park. It shared it with Vauxhall Pleasure Gardens before, but oh my god, I'm kind of getting a bit emotional just recounting how beautiful the day was. UK Black Pride was so empowering, so beautiful, so black, so brown, so East Asian, so amazing that, you know what, I am a changed person after Sunday. I feel like all of the beauty of being a queer person of colour was on full display. We had MNEK headlining, showing how beautiful it is to be femme and black, queer and black. Oh, just everything. It was beautiful. Thank you, Lady Phil. Thank you for UK Black Pride. Now, it brings me on to the importance of the black and brown stripes in the Pride flag and their addition to the brown and black stripes to the Pride flag, how important they are. We need to highlight the racism within the LGBTQ community. Sorry, hon, but it's not going to go away. Not if we don't talk about it. Not if we don't represent. And the QPOC flag, the brown and black stripes, really show that we are not going to put up with racism anymore. We're not going to put up with an all-white representation of the LGBTQ community anymore, because LGBTQ is everyone all over the world, and people are getting left behind. Look at the Kaleidoscope Trust and the good work that they're doing, tackling, bringing awareness to places in Africa and Asia where brown and black people live, where it's still illegal to be gay in certain countries within those continents. So yeah, get with the program, white gays. You need to be on board with us. We need your help, and not your help, rather. We need your contribution to all of this. You can't go hiding in your little white gay bubbles and like not even help. Like, come on, that's not what being a community is all about. Anyway, talking about sexual racism, like, yeah, sure, you can have a preference for white, but like, what is it, a preference, or is it actually a problem that you've got with people that are not white? So yeah, I just want to say that as well. What else can I cover? My first vlog, there's been a lot. Oh, that's right, Rainbow Films. How could I forget? I filmed with them all weekend at Pride in London and in UK Black Pride. And it was just brilliant. Blaze Singh, founder of Rainbow Films, thank you for having me interview with you and take part. I enjoyed every minute. And of course, Vanit and all the rest of the team, Jing and Matt, loved filming with you. Hadi, I loved it. I so enjoyed it so much. And I know Rainbow Films representing the QPOC experience is going to go from strength to strength. Just like QPOC people generally. Woo! Anyway, that's my first vlog. So yeah, let's stay tuned for my next one.